Mimi na best friend yangu tulipatana kwa cult. Karacha, let's talk. Every time I touch on this story, sikwasangi wasi wanashtuka, wanashindwa mbona watu wanakaa kwa hizi makanisa, mbona watu wanatikia kubebewa akili hivi. And I get it, even as a person who's been there, sometimes I listen to some stories and I'm like, but the thing with cults is if you've not experienced it yourself, you can never truly understand it. Like you can attempt to understand it empathetically, but kama ujepitia huwezi elewa vizuri. And there are specific types of people that cults prey on. Wase wako na self-esteem and identity issues, number one. Kwa sababu cult itakupea purpose, a feeling of belonging, we are a family, we have a greater purpose. Watu wamelelewa in controlling backgrounds, maybe they had strict parents or something. Hata DNA alisema, people have a natural affinity towards the familia. It doesn't matter kama inakuharibu ama inakujenga, bora umeizoea na unaijua, mara nyingi utajipata you being drawn to that. Lastly, idealists and seekers. These are people who are hungry. They're always looking for truth, they're looking for light, they're looking for a greater meaning of life. Episode 1426, my shocking journey into a cult.
I was so hungry to a point I landed in a cult. In that time in Narok. Found myself in a cult. Tulikuwa tunamit saa 2 the whole day na Sunday the whole day. Tulikuwa tunaitananga brother. That was the salutation.
So why do you call it a cult?
Because they had built around a certain revival personality.
Yes, a human being.
Yes, a human being. And we used to read his books. But the guy was so deep in scripture and inside he was a prophet. And back in the days when they talk, they say when he will prophesy, literally the presence of God will come on his head. The fire. So literally it will come. So what they did, they build around his teaching. They said he was the last prophet, the last Elijah, and so they will build around his teachings. And it was more of eschatological. In fact, Mackenzie was caught with his books. It was more of that point, the world is coming to an end anytime soon. That's how sometimes when you're too hungry for God, you end up becoming too radical. Even bitter food tastes sweet. So personally, so I didn't have the balance of growth. I get in this thing and I'm too radical. And I begin now to search truths and that revolutionary mind. Now you become, you're in church, but now you're a criticizer of the church. Because these guys used to say, hizi makanisa zote ni maklabu, hapa hakuna mabishop au ni ma-entertainer. And I was like, yeah, that's it, revolution maze.
Unajua kuna msi anaweza kuwa pata ashan subscribe kwa channel na anasema hata kwa kifuata CTA wako na mtu wa madefo. Listen, there's a difference between a cult and the occult. The occult ni uko kubaya, ni uko kwenye unafikiria, ni uko. A cult on the other hand is extremely damaging. Don't get me wrong, it's extremely damaging. But tunaweza define kama an organization enye iko centered around one man or one specific teaching or ideology. And that organization, it exercises a lot of control towards the people that follow it through psychological manipulation, strict rules, and isolating the people that follow the cult from the outside people. Na juu ya structure ya hizi organizations, it's extremely hard to get out. But it's not impossible. So how do you get out of a cult?
But my wake-up call was when I asked, why are we not doing crusades? If we have all this truth, and guys are so lost, why can't we go out and preach? And they gave me one scripture, the sheep know my voice. So if these people are among us, they will come where we are. Then I asked, how will they hear if we don't voice it? So because I was doing my own personal study, I discovered there's a lot of contradicting things. Then the leader told us, TV ni mbaya, radio ni mbaya, all these things ni secular. One day we went to a fellowship in his house. Nikakuta yendo alikuwa na gari, yako na TV, na yako na radio. Alafu akaona ni kama tumestuka, akasema unajua mimi lazima nijue vile dunia inaendelea. For me that was my red flag. Nikasema hata mimi nitanunua TV, nijue vile dunia inaendelea. So that's why I left that place.
Kama kuna kitu cult inaogopa, ni akili inafikiria. Personally, nikiwa huko, I had to actively gaslight myself in order to stay. Because the internal battle ilikuwa, on one end, niko na macho, na hata kama akili yangu nimeipark mahali na hibernate, bado inafanya kazi kidogo tu. Like, nezoona, hapana huyu gadhe ni mwizi, hapana that was unfair, hapana mbona na escape accountability. But on the other end, nimeambiwa, nikitoka kwa covering yangu hadi naweza gongwa na kuku nikufe. Nilikuwa na ile fear ya sitaki ku experiences consequences zenye tumeambiwa tuta experience tukitoka, but niko na macho na naona hapana nyi watu mnanibeba ujinga. So what I'd do is gaslight myself in order to survive. I had to convince myself and my mind that hapana, huyu msee ni mzuri, ni watu wenye wamemzunguka ndio wabaya. Hapana, hata huyu alikosea, mbona ana attack daddy wake wa kiroho and all that stuff. Like I had to gaslight myself. So by the time I was leaving, you just know, their gaslighting, my gaslighting, our combined effort to manipulate me to stay was not strong enough to keep me there. I had experienced the amazing power of God. And I'm telling you this, juu haikosei, most likely wasi wenye wanaochi kitu either wako na mse wanajua wako kwa cult na maybe you're thinking of how to help them. You're already an enemy in their life. They've already been conditioned against you. You might be living under the same roof, you've shared a womb, you're their mother, you're their whatever, it doesn't matter. Washa conditioniwa against you, hata kama hawata kuconfront. So everything you're saying, you're either confirming or whatevering them. So be careful how you choose to confront them about the matter. But the most important advice I can give you, especially if you're of my faith, is to pray. This is just to paint a picture for you so that you know what you're dealing with. Other than that, history ni ndefu, waenda tu jione alafu tupatane kwa comments.
So no one was talking to me. And you know those guys arm you with scriptures. It's like they know what these guys will ask you. So you uko hapo on the defense. And then ukianza kuona wame lose, unaanza sasa ku build philosophy zako. And it's an attack. And part of what you're saying is very true.
Yes.
So you have 70%.
But your heart is even in the wrong.
Hati yako ni kuonesha mepotea nyingi. So my mom just said, me, I'll pray for you because I know genuinely you are seeking for God. And akasema, heri upotelee kwa kal kuliko upotelee kwa ba. It's better you get lost seeking the truth than get lost in places where we can never find you. But I think her prayers really were very instrumental because later now I came back with a lot of balance. So after here now I stay home, I'm born again, very radical, preaching, I become an interpreter in church, I'm an usher, and I serve God radically. Then boom, I realize I can't go to the university and I take 3 days in prayer just to seek the Lord. So we have a compango with my dad. And I take 3 days in prayer and I receive a letter after 3 days to go to uni. I'm invited in Nairobi University to go and do BSc Geology.
What?
And the person who brings the letter is my father.